Bugs, bugs, and more bugs. What more could a gamer ask for? Ever since the dawn of mankind, gamers have been asking, but what about ein Buggenheim? And boy oh boy, is it finally here. But how does it stack up though? My verdict? My ass. Out of 10.
Wham's time.
FlyKnight is a game from not that long ago. I saw it on TikTok a little bit and forgot about it until I saw it on Steam a couple days ago, and I jumped up out of my gamer chair and said, "Oh, by Jesus, Mary and Joseph, it's the RuneScape Shadow Tower bug game," and I bought it immediately. If there were any short way to describe this game, it's, as I just said, Shadow Tower kind of, with old RuneScape visuals, and it's all about insectulas, good old-fashioned bugoids. It is extremely charming and surprisingly customizable. It's got your basic features like the ability to max out FOV like a real gamer, and if you want to make it all funnier, you can mess with the animation smoothing and add filters so you can run around and get lost in a dithered, low-poly hellscape. I mean, if that's something you wanted. That's what I did. Fuck all that though. What about the game itself? Is it any good? My verdict? My ass. Out of 10. But no, really, there's a lot to love here. First of all, controls are simple. WASD for movement, F to kick, C and V for spells, P to poop, blah blah blah. You know what fucking rocks? Movement-based attacks. Not every weapon has them, and those that do don't have the same amount as others might have. For example, a hammer might only have the downswing, whereas a dagger might have a different swing depending on which side you're moving to, or a polearm might get one for each of the 4 basic directions. It really just depends. So more or less, the only way to improve on this system is going full chivalry, which, maybe that'd be cool, but I love what's here. This is reminiscent of, like I said, chivalry, but also a handful of other dungeon crawlers of sorts. On the other hand, though, the level design and a handful of mechanics feel very clearly inspired by modern FromSoft titles. By that I mean Dark Souls. Specifically Dark Souls 1 though, so epic win. I probably would have pissed and shit my pants if it were more Bloodborne shit. You assholes are never getting your re-release, and at this point you don't deserve it. Quit crying or daddy's gonna give you a reason to cry. Shakes fist like an alpha. We've got our typical Souls-like checkpoints here. Campfires in this case, which is cute. Here you can travel between unlocked camps, simply rest and recover, or engage in online shenanigans. I didn't during my playthrough, but I can only imagine how stupid fun it is. I'll have to try it out sometime. You've also got Estus flasks. I say that like it's a bad mechanic, but they really hit the nail on the head with that one. It was being built up since like Kingsfield 2 or 3. It was just a matter of time. At least it's not those Dark Souls 2 healing crystals. Those are fucking stupid. You know what, speaking of Dark Souls 2, I'm joking, I'm not gonna do it again. Back to combat for a moment. I neglected to mention an essential mechanic. Dismemberment. If you deal enough damage to an enemy's specific limbs, such as the arms, legs, or head, eventually you can destroy it and put them in a weaker state, such as disarming them or their weapons, crippling them, or my favorite, slamming my mallet so hard on their heads that they pop and slowly bleed out and die. Very funny, every time. This mechanic, alongside some slight dungeon crawly elements, really reminded me of Shadow Tower Abyss, an old FromSoft game you've probably never heard of or played because you suck. You specifically. I could reach right through your screen right now and attack you, because I don't like you. But I'm gonna be merciful just this once, okay? Let's get back to it. Level design here is very tight. There's not many levels. The game clocks in at just about 3 hours long, probably a little bit more if you collect all the equipment, but it felt gigantic while playing because of how impressively intelligent the levels were built. I forgot developers could do shit like this. You know, playing with shadow and light to make it so that things look deeper than they really are. Almost as if that limitations breed creativity thing was actually true. Who would have thunk? Any time during these levels you may get lost, you're very rarely far from a new item, or actual progression, or a shortcut back to the main path. You really can't get lost at all, which is insane. There's always something to find, and always something to guide you. I don't remember there being any dead ends either. It all kind of just loops back around together. There's a very old PS1/PS2 dungeon crawler feel here. Aided by being first person and FromSoft inspired, it really does harken back to Kingsfield and Shadow Tower, and for me that's highly welcome. It kind of reminds me of a lot less claustrophobic Lunacid of sorts, but that's a topic for a different day. My ass. What is music? Sound, vibrations, permeations, struggling to reach out and touch, make their impact, just like you and I. This is why music is so powerful. The soundtrack is pretty good. Little insert from Editor Whammy. Okay, so originally I had recorded a little bit about the soundtrack being very, I don't know, underwhelming or just serviceable, but now that I have looked for the umpteenth time if I've found an actual upload of the soundtrack to this game and going back through it without, actually just having it in the background of the game, it is perhaps maybe one of the best fantasy soundtracks I have heard in ages. This is gorgeous. It's amazing. I cannot believe I would have called it just serviceable. It is unbelievable. I will leave a few examples hereafter. Unreal, gorgeous, beautiful. This is amazing. No notes. This is perfect. Speaking of Dark Souls, I hope you like stories and worlds told to you through bits and pieces. I've gotten sick and tired of this type of writing because often it feels like a cheap way to farm fan engagement, but here it's not that bad. There's no deepest lore horseshit going on, and what you see is pretty much what you get. So what is it? This one dumb bitch moth named Luna Moth craved power. So she wanted to go to the moon and become like the new moth god, hence Luna Moth. In order to do this, she needed more than her pathetic little moth wings, so she stole the wings of the flies. Even worse, she enslaved the Hornets, for some reason. Just to be an asshole is my guess. It tracks. The flies, obviously upset by the fact their wings got stolen from them, sent out an order of FlyKnights, title drop, led by Kaleem the Dragonfly Dragoon, to kick her ass. Little did they know, they were led right into an ambush, killing most of the flies and severely injuring those that survived. We play as a humble squire, a fly of no renown who is hoping to make a name on this quest. We now stand as what may be the last chance for the flies to regain their honor, wings, and dignity. Along our path, we meet a handful of mostly unfriendly faces. There's Hideyoshi, a Vesper samurai seeking to regain the honor of his people by slaying Lunamoth. He fucking hates us. There's this one fly that also hates us. Kaleem the Dragonfly Dragoon ends up being a traitor, so we can count him out of the friends list. Really, the only sight for sore eyes we get is the humble vagrant fly, a true pacifist that leaves supplies for us along the way. They, of course, also seek to bring justice to Lunamoth, but, as we'll see, for a different but similar reason. Of course, we one-up all of them by killing a giant plant monster they somehow couldn't, because they're, so much better than us, and we progress to the swamp. Of course, they're all like, "No, I totally could have done it, I was just like, letting you because I felt bad, I could have done it, I really could have done it, I could have did it with my labias tied behind my back, you'll see." But we know the truth. The swamp may prove treacherous, but our overwhelming prowess and raw sexual energy force all foes to submit beneath us. Along the way, we find ourselves assaulting a large building filled with possessed flies. We're aided by two nameless flies, looking to jolly cooperate and put an end to Lunamoth's terror. We never see them again. Shame, I actually felt like I was getting a friend here. When we reach the end of the swamp, who shows up as the obvious traitor but Kaleem, who tries to kill us, but we obviously are better than him, so, dead. Your words ring hollow, dying fly. Go to fly hell. Are dragonflies even flies? Who cares? After collecting his epic limited edition Boss Baby merchandise, we find ourselves in a long abandoned and withered ruins, completely crawling with the undead. We solve a simple puzzle and use boats to float down the river, where we once again meet up with Hideyoshi. As per usual, he's not really happy to see us, and this time he just drops all pretenses and wants to kill us, so he can kill Lunamoth and regain his people's honor because, the Hornets are Japanese, I guess. Light work, baby. We move deeper into enemy territory, making our way past many treacherous enemies. Finally, we arrive at our destiny, Lunamoth. A simple puzzle fight. Shoot arrow, hit with stick, jump over slow wave. Congratulations, you just did what no one else in Bugworld could have. We learn that the vagrant fly, this whole time, was actually Fly God, who was left weakened by the loss of the wings and hurt worse by Lunamoth. They take the wings back and bait a sequel. Roll credits. It's not really complex, but what it has is just enough for me to be able to ask questions without it feeling overdone. If I didn't call it from the first meeting, I probably would have been shocked and hurt by Kaleem's betrayal. But for whatever reason, I saw him and his demeanor and went, this is the guy that got us all killed, huh? When do we fight him? Other than that, it's all ambience and atmosphere, which this game has in spades. Just an absolute treat to the eyes and ears. Very impressive. At the end of the day, this game is absolutely worth whatever they're charging for it, and then some. It's not here to waste your time or money or patience. It's just good old fun and unbelievably well made at that. Go buy it and see for yourself. That's all for this time. Thanks for letting me ramble again. I hope to see you again next time. Peace. You know, I probably guessed that it was Kaleem because he's like the only named fly other than like God. But like, who else would have betrayed us? You know, who is it gonna be? Is it gonna be some nameless ass? No, it's gonna be someone they want you to have some kind of connection to. He's our leader too. He would be the one that would betray. What an asshole! I don't feel so crazy for for instantly knowing that he was gonna be like a boss fight as a traitor. I'm not crazy anymore, am I?